Chairman Sanders, thank you so much for your statement, and thank you for letting me chair today's hearing on a topic that is deeply important to me, and I want to thank all of our witnesses for joining us here today. Today, we take a close accounting of the trauma Republicans are inflicting on women and families across our country, and the damage they are doing to basic reproductive health care through their horrific anti-abortion crusade. The issue here is simple, and it cuts to the core of American values: freedom. Many women every day experience the joy of becoming pregnant and raising a family. They were able to make that decision for themselves. But no woman, no one should be dragged through a pregnancy against their will. But right now in America, more than a third of women of reproductive age live in states where they essentially do not have the choice to end a pregnancy if they need to. Instead, Republicans have made the choice for them, with extreme abortion bans and cruel restrictions on access to care. With these policies, they have told women in no uncertain terms, you don't control your body, we do. That is horrifying. Think about what it means, what it really means to be told someone else can decide you have to stay pregnant, no matter the circumstances. Think about how little power that gives a woman over her own life and her own health. And think about how much power that gives not just politicians, but any man who knows he can get a woman pregnant, force her to stay pregnant, so he can have control over her or even get revenge for the rest of her life. To every Republican who hopes this issue will go away, or is hoping the post-Dobbs reality will become settled status quo, listen. You never forget, and you never just get used to someone else taking control of your body, your medical decisions, your plans for your family, or your future. You never forget a politician rescinding your right to make decisions about something as personal as your own pregnancy and imposing his will instead, especially when you live with the consequences every day. And the consequences of the post-Dobbs abortion bans are so much broader and so much more devastating than any one story or hearing can ever do justice. There are stories that get a lot of attention, that are shocking almost beyond belief. Stories of women denied care for a miscarriage because of abortion bans. Women turned away from hospitals because their doctors' hands were tied, until they lost over half of their blood, until their husband found them unconscious, until the only option was an emergency hysterectomy, or tragically, until it was simply too late. Or stories of children who can't get abortion care after being raped. Some kids may be able to get across state lines to get the care they need. Other children have been forced into motherhood by Republican politicians. One teenager delivered a baby while clutching a teddy bear. These nightmares are happening across our country as a direct result of Republican abortion bans. And there are so many other stories that go untold. Women who do not want to be pregnant for whatever reason, maybe they can't afford to have another child right now. Maybe they are in an abusive relationship. Maybe they just don't want a kid right now, period. But they are told by politicians they have no say in the matter. Not unless they have the time and resources, often thousands of dollars, to travel, in some cases, hundreds and hundreds of miles. It is harrowing, if they can fix that.
Can we fix that?
It is harrowing to think that we live in a reality where forced pregnancy has become so widespread and so rampant that only the most dystopian stories get national attention. But the stories of all the other women who are confronted by these bans, their pain, their heartbreak, their anger and fears are also horrific, valid, and an important part of the conversation. A forced pregnancy does not have to make headlines to make someone's life a living hell. And let's be clear about a few more things before we get started. Republican attacks are not only hurting people in the states where they banned abortion, they are not only hurting women who need an abortion, and their attacks on our rights are not stopping at an abortion. When it comes to states like mine where abortion is legal, providers are being stretched beyond capacity by women in desperate need of abortion care they can no longer get at their home. So when it comes to women who aren't even seeking an abortion, bans are hollowing out health care for women in general, especially for those who already face some of the biggest challenges getting care, women of color, Indigenous women, those in rural communities. Because, in a surprise to no one, healthcare providers do not want to work in states where politicians get between a doctor and their patient and threaten providers with jail time and the loss of their medical license if they dare to help patients get the care they need. So in states with extreme abortion bans, we are seeing healthcare providers closing their doors and shutting down their practices, new doctors staying away, and fewer options for patients to get a whole range of necessary healthcare services. The consequences extend far beyond abortion. And when it comes to what is next, well, Republicans have already made it painfully clear they want a national abortion plan. And no matter what they're saying now, we can just look at the record. Look at how many Republicans have co-sponsored national abortion bans. Look at the Life at Conception Act. That is a bill that is supported by more than half of the House Republican Conference that would enshrine fetal personhood nationwide. Let's be clear what that would mean. Not just an abortion ban. It would mean that women and doctors will be charged with murder for an abortion, making them eligible for the death penalty in their states. It would mean emergency contraception, like Plan B, outlawed. And it would mean IVF ripped away from people who are trying to start a family. This is not theoretical. We saw how much chaos this dangerously extreme ideology already caused for families in Alabama. And yet there are Republican states and Republican members of Congress, including the Speaker of the House, who support making fetal personhood the law of the land. That is extreme in the extreme. But in the face of all this horror, we've also seen an outcry from women and men who refuse to let Republicans keep dragging our nation backwards and stripping away our basic rights. Every time abortion rights have been on the ballot since Dobbs, every single time abortion rights have won. People are standing up and they're speaking out, and Democrats are proud to stand with them. Democrats are going to make sure women's voices are heard in our nation's capital, including at hearings like this one. And we're going to keep fighting to pass the Women's Health Protection Act and restore the basic and fundamental right of women to control their own bodies. While former President Trump continues to brag about how he overturned Roe and made clear he will go even farther to restrict and ban abortion if given the chance, Democrats have been clear. With a pro-choice majority in the House and Senate and Joe Biden in the White House, we will restore and protect abortion rights for every woman in America. Thank you. And with that, I look forward to hearing from all of our witnesses, but first I will turn it over